This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey, friend, I know how it feels, waking up exhausted after multiple trips to the bathroom and feeling embarrassed by sudden leaks. I used to be constantly on edge, searching for a restroom whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Woman. I was skeptical at first, but 2 months in, everything changed. I experienced improved bladder control, no more heart-stopping moments when I laugh or sneeze, less urge to go, deeper and more restful sleep. I finally felt like myself again. Confident, and in control. Better Woman is natural, effective, and trusted by women for over 25 years. Ready to take back your control? Head over to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Let's play hockey! Here comes one of the very best, John Krasinski, beloved Jonny Athletic with The Athletic and theathletic.com. And he joins the Friday fill-in feast where his athletic cohort, Alec Lewis, has been the co-host for the totality of the show. And with Jonny Athletic, the Timberwolves are on a bit of a respite right now, awaiting the victor of the Golden State Warriors Houston Rockets series. That could come to conclusion tonight, and Jonny joins us now. Hey, John, wonderful and enterprising gamer from the closure of the Lakers. And then that's one of many things that I love about The Athletic is you're not constrained. You don't have space constraints, so you don't have to get right into the final score and, you know, what exactly happened in the lead and the opening paragraphs. You can build that thing, man. And that's why I said enterprising. Just a wonderful and enterprising gamer from that finale out crypto.com way. What was it like out there at the arena as they mourned that funeral for their friend?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, PA. Thanks for having me. Thanks for those words. Yeah, it was interesting because you could tell throughout this series, and in particular in Game 5, that the Lakers, certainly their fans, many of the media that were in attendance, just really expected at some point that Luka and LeBron would take this thing over, that the Timberwolves would continue to be the old Timberwolves that we knew and sort of loved back in the day, and that the Lakers would just take control. And until probably the middle part of the first quarter of Game 5, then this all of a sudden dread started to hang in the building of just like, oh my gosh, the Wolves are actually the better team. We are in real trouble here. And even though the game was tight all the way through, there was just always this kind of feeling that like, this is not going well. This is not going to work out. And so by the end of it, to see the Wolves as the team that was clearly far and away the better team, really handle business in 5 games, it was really a lot of just shock and disbelief in crypto.com, you know, among all of the interested parties.
John, hope you're well. Nice talking to you. I kind of wanted you to go back out to LA to do some more tanning. I know you've enjoyed the time out there on the beach, I'm sure. Why? Yeah. I'm curious to hear from you. Why do you think Ant's decision making has seemed to progress as much as it has? Like, what do you attribute kind of the development that it seems like we're seeing to?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Alec, is that what has become apparent is that, as PA loves to say, you regular season for show, you postseason for dough. And I think Ant takes that to an extreme level in terms of we saw a lot during the regular season, especially in crunch time, of him putting it all on his shoulders, step back threes that were contested, some silly passes, things like that. And I just think that he was not all the way fully locked in the regular season like he is in these playoffs. When you get to this point, you have usually like 2 days between games. That's a lot of studying time. What a lot of his teammates have said and remarked about is how much he's using his voice to send text messages, have meetings, say things to the team. Like, he's totally focused on basketball and basketball alone. And there's nothing else that is distracting him. And so he is going into these games with a clear understanding of what is required of him, of what he needs to do, and of what his teammates need from him. And so there's just an extra level of connectivity with his teammates, of adherence to the game plan, of understanding who his opponent is. And it's all coming out into these, great decisions. It's, I think, 31 assists, 6 turnovers. They were the much better team in clutch time in this series, which no one saw coming, myself included. And it's all because Anthony Edwards is completely focused and completely locked in on an entirely different level. And, it's made all the difference in the world here. We
talked a little bit earlier in the show with Chad Greenway about just the potential of a matchup with the Rockets or the Warriors. Where does your mind go as you think about these two as possibilities? Which matchup would you prefer to see? Which matchup do you think the team would prefer to see? Where is your mind at with that?
Yeah, I think, as a writer, as a chronicler of the team, as a rooter for storylines, how could you not want the Golden State Warriors? Steph Curry, the team, the player that they passed on in the draft years ago that really set them back. Jimmy Butler, the nemesis. Draymond Green, the villain. There's so many rich stories to tell in a matchup like that. Plus, they get home court advantage, so I wouldn't have to go on the road for 1 and 2. That would be outstanding. So in terms of just what I think would provide the most compelling content, that would be it. I think the easier path to the Western Conference Finals is the Houston Rockets. I think they're less experienced. I don't think offensively they have anything close to what they would need to kind of keep up with the Timberwolves that way. Their defense is really, really good, though, and so I think they would be, that would be formidable. But I like them in either matchup, to be honest with you, Alec. But I think the Rockets would be the easier opponent. The Warriors would be the bigger mountain to climb, and so that's what I would like to see. And I think a lot of the Timberwolves, I know Anthony Edwards wants the Warriors. I know that they want that challenge, and so we'll see what happens. But man, thinking about game one with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green on the other side and fun. What that atmosphere in Target Center would be like, it would be off the charts.
What, John, where can people find you on Twitter?
At JONKRAWCZYNSKI.
Can you repeat the part of this stuff where you said all about the things?
So if the Dubs win tonight, what's the steam? When does the second round start?
Yeah, so if the Dubs win tonight, game one is Monday at Target Center. If it goes 7, game 2 is Tuesday at Target Center if they play the Warriors. Tuesday in Houston if they play the Rockets.
Now, OKC has been off so long, man, they could all take vacations. Are you feeling, no matter the second round opponent, are you kind of you're an elite NBA mind, man? Are you feeling Wolves OKC conference finals?
That's what it looks like and feels like to me, PA. OKC's been far and away the best team in the league all season long. They looked terrific in the opening round against Memphis, and they're just big, deep, nasty, young, all of those things. You have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander I will be interested to see how they respond in the second round, whether it's Denver, whether it's the Clippers, and just like how the experience factor comes in. But it would shock me if the Thunder are not there waiting for the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals.
Clippers and Nuggets are going 7. Our friend David Adelman's doing pretty good work out there with Denver, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's doing fantastic, PA. That was a team that was dead in the water before they made the drastic moves to fire Michael Malone and Calvin Booth. They literally were just careening off the cliff. And to see the way that David Adelman has stepped into an incredibly difficult situation, has earned the respect and the trust of that team, and is really just shepherding them the way that he has. Fantastic. Ryan Saunders is on that staff as well. He's done a great job. But I thought for a while, PA, that David Adelman is a head coach in this league in waiting. He's gotten a few interviews before. And I think he's going to get a great shot to be the guy in Denver. And I think he can be a great coach for a very long, long time. He does a great job of connecting with players. He's super smart X's and O's wise. And it's really neat to see him having a good series and pushing the right buttons to get them to 7 games here.
Jonny Athletic, John Krasinski, a couple more before we say goodbye and head into the penultimate. You talk about great storylines, with Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and all that. Given compelling storylines and drama are good for Jonny Athletic stories, I mean, you just have to be pulling for Wolves Knicks in the NBA Finals, right?
Oh my gosh, that would be unbelievable. I mean, just the best. Just saying Timberwolves in the NBA Finals is unbelievable just to think about. But yeah, I mean, if we got my guy Cat in the finals with the Knicks, and the trade, all of those things, playing in New York, sign me up for that 1,000 times out of 1,000. I might have to retire after that series. Well, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, just to land the plane on this, and it's my take. We'll see what yours is. End of the equation, because I think we can go into the equation on the Ballyhoo trade. The Wolves and Knicks both did well with this trade, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is, I think, a win-win for both teams. Carl has done incredibly well with the Knicks. He's had, I think, maybe the best season of his career in New York. He fits with that starting lineup. He works with Jalen Brunson well. Everything's going really well there for him. And then for the Wolves, it took a while, PA, it did, but you see the vision that Tim Connolly had in this trade. Julius Randle was terrific in the first round. They are a little tougher with Randall and DiVincenzo on this group. And I think the other thing is they're more versatile. They can win in several different ways now. When you add the 2-for-1 and Cat for Randall and DiVincenzo, everyone knows what I think about Cat as a player, as a person, all of that. But certainly watching the way that this team has come together down the stretch, they look really good, and they look like a team that is probably better equipped to face multiple opponents, multiple different styles of fights in a playoff series. And so it has worked out great for both teams, I think.
John, first, you can't retire. That'd be terrible for us, the Athletic. Second, if there is one thing about this team and the potential matchups that worries you, what would that one thing be?
I'm trying to think of the problem. I guess I think that what you wonder about is all of this stuff that we saw in the first round sustainable against a much tougher defense. The Lakers defense was terrible. There were way too many holes, and it was way too easy for them to attack. And so they were able to get whatever they wanted offensively whenever they wanted it. Even in game 5, when they were missing 43s out of the 47 that they took, they were all wide open shots. It was easy offense. Everything came to them easily. They should have won that game by 25 points. But when they go into that second round, they're going to face really strong defense, either from the Warriors or the Rockets. And so how do they continue to do what worked so well for them, especially in clutch time against the defenses that are going to make it that much harder. And a lot of what they did against the Lakers was driven by how easy they were able to get things and their offense. And so that's going to come much more difficult in round 2, and they're going to have to be even more locked in on the game plan, on everything, to have that kind of success against Rockets defense, against Draymond and the Warriors defense.
Have a great weekend, my man. Thanks a lot for pinch hitting and stepping in. Appreciate you.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
John Krasinski, The Athletic, theathletic.com. Some wild closure-related talkbacks make up the penultimate around the corner. Talkback, free iHeartRadio app. Find the microphone, 30 seconds, and boom. But first, Double B has this.
The Fan at BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com and keyword cash. The keyword cash, KFAN.com, keyword.
You know that feeling when you're about to score 30% off, but they want your number? Ugh. Give them your Line 2 number instead. It's a second line on your phone, perfect for nabbing promo codes without inviting spam to your party. Sign up for every discount under the sun, then block the junk texts that follow. You get all the perks, but none of the spammy baggage. More codes, less chaos. Visit line2.com/audio or download Line 2 in the App Store and get your shopping sidekick today. Because the only thing blowing up your phone should be good deals.
Cash.
A sports funeral for a friend. We thank you for the talkbacks, and we're going to rattle through some of those over the next X amount of minutes. And Double B is at the talkback machine. Take it away.
Yeah, well, we'll start here. At least this guy's having fun with it.
Hi, guys. Willie from Woodbury here. I'm just headed into my morning round of golf at Prestwick, and I was just thinking about that hockey game last night, and I had a couple thoughts. First of all, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen. Not only was it the worst game in Minnesota, also the Midwest, United States, North America, this side of the Atlantic, it was the worst game on the planet. That's what I said, on the planet.
Willie, clearly the tariffs have gotten to you, and you've gone over the top. And clearly you missed the hope selling after the game. One of my favorite quotes I've heard in a long time. Here's what head coach John Hines had to say about the future.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
What's next?
Nate from Coon Rapids here. The Wild, they need to get bigger. It seemed like they quit with the physicality in the last couple games. I really think someone like Rossi is kind of on the chopping block here. You got to trade him in the offseason, get bigger down the middle. Get a little more support for Eck and Kaprizov. They got to be bigger and be built a little better for the playoffs going forward.
Cool talkback. I appreciate you on that. How does one become bigger in the size department in the world of hockey? Off what I believe it was Nate just shared via the talkback, and noted National Hockey League free agent expert Alec Lewis, fortunately, is our co-host right now. So, Brett, like from a free agency standpoint, off what that talkbacker just said, you got any names top of the head, or like from a free agent standpoint with the what's next plan?
Well, I'll just say this. I cannot disagree with that talkbacker. Thank you much for listening and talking back, but I can't disagree. Like, we've been getting playoff style players and building. I mean, we're trading for Brazeau and trading and signing Trenyon to a huge deal. Like, that's all we're doing is getting playoff style players, and we haven't won a series since I was in high school. So I would like more scoring help. Matthew Nyes, maybe.
Honey, we haven't gotten to the second round since you were in high school. We've won series. Oh, no way, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, me.
Yep.
Stick to basketball. Stick to horse racing. Go back to California. So do you have any names?
Sad, really. For free agents to get bigger or free agents?
Sure. Or just free agents.
Yeah, I mean, I don't at the moment because we don't know how much money they're going to have.
And you didn't think they were going to lose.
Well, there's that. I like the way they played the whole series, but they need more goal scoring.
Is his point, is the talkbacker's point, which I mean, he seemed like he's going through it this morning in Coon Rapids. Is his point like the football version of like need to get better in the trenches? Like, is that Brett? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the like more physicality, play deeper into the season?
To me, that's just kind of the old school way of looking at things. Like most people probably have that opinion are wearing like North Stars jerseys every game. Like they're thinking about the Broad Street Bullies. Like, and that's just not, there's just not the way that NHL teams are built to win. Like if you look at the last handful of cup winning teams, they have scoring lines 1, 2, and 3, you know, and if one line's not going, the other two can get it. And we saw last night if Kaprizov and Boldy weren't going, that was pretty much it.
Talk back.
Let's go here.
Minnesota Wild. Hate to name names, but this lies on Billy Guerin. The 2 pickups he made right before the trade line, Nyquist and Brazier, not only were they not productive, they made bad mistakes and did not take advantage of opportunities when they were in front of them. Those 2 names costed us the series.
What do you think about that, Double B?
I mean, the Nyquist offside is going to be a talker all summer, and how he, you know, that's rookie mistake to not stretch a foot out or even go parallel with the blue line beforehand, which he kind of did, but he still was over. It stinks. It absolutely stinks. I think he's right. I wasn't crazy about either one of those picks.
Another.
Hey, PA, this is Josh Amindi. We've got the expiring contracts of Parise and Suter. Now that cash can go to get better helpers, and we've got a good core with the Gus Bus in the net as well. We're going to make a strong run next year. Go Wild.
Gustafson as your A goalie. And by the way, it's 9 to noon is 2.5 hours into the presentation. And whether you like hockey or not, whether you follow the Wild closely or not, we would be remiss if we did not give covenant claps to the career that was Marc-Andre Fleury.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, in any sport, somebody who lasts that long, wins rings, does what that guy has done, and it was over. That's an eye-opening moment. Do you have a favorite Marc-Andre Fleury game?
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Dane Mizutani, who covers the Vikings for the Pioneer Press.
How is Chris Thomason these days?
Dane, I don't know. I actually saw him at the owners meeting. Dane obviously covered the Wild for many seasons. And he described Fleury to me as a blend between Cam Bynum and Josh Metellus with the Hall of Fame like playing career, which I mean for me as a football guy, it's I mean you could see the reverence from the Knights players after the game. I believe they stayed out and all. I mean it's I don't know. You make an impact like that on a league.
All of a sudden, your speech pattern is stammered, and you're a bit staccato ever since Angela Herman showed up in studio. All of a sudden, you're blushing, your glasses have fogged, and you can't spit a sentence out.
Well, because I want to talk about Cole Battle and the horse opportunities.
Would you rather talk about Cole Battle or Cole Kmet?
Definitely Cole Battle. I'm not a big Kmet guy. Anyway, the Fleury... It's an unbelievable career. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing.
I was speaking with Dane Mizutani yesterday, talking about the Vikings draft, and he told me that his team is that many offensive line / offensive coaches around the league have high grades on Donovan Jackson, especially with his work in the run game, and that his power comes from the ground. But I asked a question: does he make the hard blocks? And he pointed some hard blocks out to me, and that innate athleticism. There's no doubt, and it's completely understandable as to why they took him at 24, right?
Yeah, I mean, Donovan Jackson.
That's it.
It's a pretty fun...
Well, now you're going to flex in front of Angela.
No, I'm not.
Some football knowledge.
It's pretty basic knowledge. It's pretty fun to envision Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill.
Cool. So next Friday, we're going to have FIBA, Fairness and Blake Brandel Act. because you'll see him in an OTA, dude.
Blake,
you got me off the team?
No, I really like Blake. I really like Justin School.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see Walter Rouse and Michael Juergens next to Logan Brown and Joe Huber. But no, it's
another talk back, please.
Civil servant here. People need to temper their expectations to the Wild going out and spending money. They just need to sign Kaprizov to an extension. Faber's contract's going from $900,000 to $8.5 million.
Good.
So when you factor
that's a hell of a pay
and
raise.
Kaprizov getting a raise, there goes your $14 million for Parise and Suter.
Oh, great.
They don't have the money to spend. People think they do.
Well, that's sweet. That's cool. So you're saying my steam, the steamrolling I did earlier from my Steam supporter was no good.
Paterka's staying in Buffalo and drinking Labatt.
Labatt's. Wait till Billy Guerin gets on the phone with the agent to Matthew Nyes and says this.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
And then all of a sudden, here comes the former Golden
How is Scott
Gopher.
Boras?
He's doing quite well lately. And thank you for asking. All right. Well, I am Paul Bearer Allen. This is a funeral for a friend, the friend known as the Minnesota Wild. Paul Bearer Allen with Alec Lewis return for the final segment. We're going to go to Derby touting with Miss Angela Herman from Canterbury Park, and you're listening to FM 100.3 KFAN.
Hey, friend. I know how it feels, waking up exhausted after multiple trips to the bathroom and feeling embarrassed by sudden leaks. I used to be constantly on edge, searching for a restroom whenever I was out. Then I discovered Better Woman. I was skeptical at first, but 2 months in, everything changed. I experienced improved bladder control, no more heart-stopping moments when I laugh or sneeze, less urge to go, deeper and more restful sleep. I finally felt like myself again, confident and in control. Better Woman is natural, effective, and trusted by women for over 25 years. Ready to take back your control? Head over to BeBetterNow.com to order your supply today. That's BeBetterNow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed. Individual results may vary.
Angela Herman, analyst at Canterbury Park. She's one of our very favorites. And with the Kentucky Derby, we have advanced wagering on the Kentucky Derby right now. If you can't go to Canterbury Park or wherever to make a bet on the Derby, but you want to have some action as you watch it at home at 6 o'clock tomorrow, or take part in Minnesota's biggest Derby party at Canterbury Park, you can head to the racetrack right now and make bets on Churchill Downs and Kentucky Oaks Day and advance wager the Kentucky Derby. Angela Herman will be on the third floor selling you tickets if you're so inclined. Mm-hmm. And you can follow her on Twitter as we do at Angela Herman 15. At Angela Herman 15. Kentucky Derby tomorrow around 6. Couple of scratches, Rodriguez and Grande. And we welcome you to the Friday fill-in feast, the Love Covenant. There's Alec Lewis over there. Who knew?
How are you?
It's surreal. It's so good to be here.
It's surreal.
Yes, all those facts that you were spitting out before. It was a little hot in here, but I'm ready to talk Derby. I'm ready to talk coal battle.
And by the way, with Canterbury being mentioned, it behooves us to remind people 3 weeks from tomorrow, the live racing season begins.
I know.
Racing at Canterbury Park. That'll be on May 24th.
Correct.
And we'll start at 5 o'clock. Angela with Kevin Gorg and yours truly will be out there calling them and handicapping them and stuff like that. Is that truly the most wonderful time of the year for you?
Well, this is great. I'm a summer person. I'm a racing person. All of this that's coming forward is my sort of thing. And being out there with you guys and getting to share it with Minnesota fans, because it's fairly new here, you can just feel the excitement right from day one. And that's one of our biggest days of the year. We encourage you to come out and join us. It's a good evening activity, and it's going to be nice. You know, it's right in between that time before graduation season, before you can really get out and go up to the cabin or something. You got to get outside, and that's the perfect excuse to do it.
Okay, now, We had a noted horse racing mind, Dick Girardi, on the radio show 90 minutes ago. He's covered the Derby, the Breeders' Cup, and written for it and or about it from Philadelphia for 3.5 decades. So the journalist over there, Alec Lewis, was smitten with the journalist in Philadelphia, Dick Girardi. So now Alec believes he's an elite Kentucky Derby mind, and he's been excited to ask you some questions. So take it away.
Well, first, I've got a guy in Chicago, okay, and he, I asked you last year, PA.
How is Eddie Olczyk?
First of all, I want to pull this up because I asked you last year about the Derby.
That's really great. All right.
And I'm going to go back in my text just because I was curious. If you were to place a wager on anybody, what might you do? And I asked you, and you said, I've picked the Derby winner 3 times in the last 25 years.
That's honest.
Ain't easy. So I appreciated that honesty. And then you said Justin Touch, and I believe Justin Touch came in very last. But I had a guy in Chicago who had better advice, and he's talking about the Oaks today. He's giving me the name Quiet Side, and Angela, you're on this. You like this horse
for the Oaks.
The Oaks.
Damn.
Yes, that's good news. I do like Quiet Side because Quiet Side has to take on a force in the Phillies ranks, and that's Good Cheer. She's 6 for 6. She's going to be the big favorite in the Kentucky Oaks today. She's number 11. I'm going to go further outside of her because Quiet Side is kind of the up and comer. If you think about the Titans versus, David.
The Jaguars? Oh, sorry, Alec.
I wasn't going to go there, but
David and Goliath. I'm sorry.
Yes, they all have to beat Goliath, and if we're going to back the Jaguars, we got to come up with some reasons why. And it's because Quiet Side is towards the outside, and there's some speed that's been scratched out of the Oaks. Now, there's not many possibilities I find outside a Good Cheer. There's not many holes that you can poke in her. She has come from just off the pace. She's towards the outside. She's done everything asked of her, and she's done it with professionalism. But with Quiet Side, she's been in a couple of very hard battles with other fillies that are in this field, and she's now landed to their outside. And Paul's talked about horses being between horses and how that's an uncomfortable sort of position. But sometimes...
For horses, Alec, not people.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes, it's very comfortable right now, I must say. But being towards the outside is typically where you would teach a horse to roll by another horse.
Look at Alec, he blushed.
I was
freaking adorable.
I'm locked in for the analysis.
I know. Continue. We're running out of time.
Okay, then I'll just say short and sweet.
Yeah.
Quiet Side, I think, is in a good technical position to pull a mild upset. Now, on the other hand, the Derby is completely wide open, and you don't have a Good Cheer in there. And right now, I believe you have a kind of a lukewarm favorite in terms of racing. Not maybe in terms of the Derby, but journalism at last check was about 3-1, 7-2.
Dick Girardi's all in on journalism.
Yep, as is Eddie Olczyk, and that's the Santa Anita Derby winner. So we're going to respect journalism. But I want to, speaking of like odds and stuff, it's. I just looked at the current Kentucky Derby odds, and number 5, American Promise, trained by D. Wayne Lucas. This one 30-1 on the morning line. Okay, forget the morning line. It's antiquated. It's been around for decades to like start the wagering. It's one person's freaking opinion and people get all wrapped up over it like that's what it's supposed to be. So, but nevertheless, American Promise, let's just say, would be a double-digit long shot if I were to make the morning line. Likewise for Angela, I would imagine. This one's 12-1, I think. So like right around 12 or 13. So American Promise, who we didn't mention or talk about a lot last night at the Derby seminar, why do you think this horse is a little steamy?
I think because he has so much speed and because he set a track record out in Virginia when he won the Virginia Derby. Now, that track was, about this firm. It was very, very fast that day. Horses were putting up fast times regardless of whether they were in a Derby prep or if they were in a mid-level claimer. That's not to take anything away from the brilliant performance that he put in, but there's going to be more pressure on the lead. He is one of the biggest horses in the field, too. I believe he is the biggest. And if there's any sort of faltering at the beginning, if there's any sort of traffic troubles, it's harder to, as you would put it, move around a Mack truck than it is to move around a Maserati. So take that into consideration if you're going to take 12-1 on him.
All right, Alec. Go ahead.
The other name I'm getting for my guy out in Chicago.
Yep. And how are how is Jeff Joniak? Anyway, continue.
I don't know who that is.
I'm sorry.
The pronunciation's going to be tough for me.
Oh, let's hear it.
What?
Baeza?
Yep. Oh, Baeza, yeah.
That's right.
Baeza, I'm hearing a lot about.
That's interesting you say that, because I was texting with somebody a little while ago.
Are they in Chicago too?
No, based in Northern California, somebody very successful in horse racing, dear friend of mine, James O., who may be listening right now. And like at the end of the text, he put in there, Baeza's in, give it a long look. John Sheriffs does not put a horse in this spot if he doesn't think Baeza could at least have a shot. I'll be quite honest with you, because this was an also eligible that I didn't
Don't
really
be
look
dishonest.
at. I couldn't pick Baeza out of a 2-horse lineup standing next to American Pharaoh. So I haven't put a ton of time into it. What do you think about Baeza?
I think that people are buying more into the promise of Baeza rather than what he's done thus far.
Traits over production.
Precisely. And from the 20 hole, he is going to at least start there for now until there's more defections, which may or may not come.
We have 2, right?
Yes. Yep. Rodriguez and Grande are both out.
Yep.
So I guess he'll be in the 19 as of now. But it's a tough order. It's a tall order for any sort of horse, but both for him and journalism. And I want to say that because we talked about this last night too. These two, although they've put in some great performances, have done it against very few horses. And given the nature of the Derby, there's just going to inevitably be more challenges that they haven't faced quite yet. And loving the potential of Baeza, loving what journalism has done, but having it not tested against a field of this volume. There's just other horses that are at really good prices that you won't see typically on these horses unless they're against each other. And I think they're worth taking a shot against. And normally, I am the California cheerleader. They know that. They talk about that. I love my California horses, and that's where both of these two are from. Pasadena City cred notwithstanding, I generally will give them a long look and or lean that way in the Derby, but I'm kind of against both of them in here because I think they'll be undervalued.
Beloved A, before we depart within 5 minutes, where would your win money fall in the Kentucky Derby? And first and second is called an exacta. A majority of people listening right now know that. If you put 3 horses together in what we call an exacta box, for $1, it costs $6. So say you box 1, 2, 3. Well, the race needs to finish either 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3. You can do the math. So if you were to take 3 horses and box them up and also slide us a win bet, how would all that sound like?
Well, the 3 horses that would be involved are more towards the outside of the gate, and they're Burnham Square, number 9, number 17, Sandman, and number 18, Sovereignty. Now, I assume you've talked to Kevin a couple of times this week, right? So you might know Sovereignty's weight, his thread count, everything like that. You know everything about Sovereignty
A
by this
2-length
point.
lead is the toughest lead to hold in horse racing.
Exactly, and he's going to change his mind inevitably before they go in the gate. So, Mark, take note of Sovereignty now before he takes the Sovereignty shirt and throws it away. I'm not going to go in depth about him, but Sandman has a local connection with Lothenbach Stables, his breeder. All he wanted his whole life was a Derby horse, that being Bob Lothenbach, the late friend of ours, Bob Lothenbach, and Sandman is there. Now, Sandman is in different hands. He has really come to hand in his last couple of races because, kind of like speaking of potential, he's been green. He ducks in a little bit. He's been kind of a quirky horse, but he can run. And he ran into a very fast pace in the Arkansas Derby. And that's another recurring theme you'll hear with this Derby. A fast pace is likely to unfold. It will play into his hands. It will play well into Sovereignty's hands. And it will definitely work well for Burnham Square, who's my top pick in here, and who currently, I think, was sitting still at around 20-1.
Jeez.
He's 16-1 at the moment. And Burnham Square is a horse that you're probably going to know fairly early what you're going to get from him because he's not the most reliable horse in the world, but he'll run all day. He will run and run and run. He doesn't look tired at the end of any of his races, and he has been battle tested thus far. He beat East Avenue in a photo. He's proven that he can draw off at the end of things. He needs a clear run through or he's going to end up very wide. But either way, I think at this juncture of their careers, first Saturday in May, he will run 1.25 miles faster than anybody else. That's my belief, and that's where my money's going to go.
Good times in a minute. So you get the final question, young Alec, and Miss Angela Herman, you get the final answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, what is your favorite story of all the horses in this race?
That's a great question to ask Angela because of how deeply she follows it. No, it really is. She's into the stories of stuff.
It's true. There's some very good stories in here, but I'm glad you brought that up because I think that Coal Battle is one of the ones that's flying under the radar.
Alabama.
But he represents some really nice people down in Arkansas. He's come up and quietly made himself a Derby bid that's going to be very, very tough. I mean, he's going to be getting a similar trip, I think, to journalism. He's going to be over twice the price. And Cole Battle is another one that's battle tested, oddly enough, with his name. He's very easy to root for. You'll see the connections. They're very blue-collar people that have put their time in the sport, and it's great to see them with a horse like this.
Journalism and publisher.
How do you not box that? You have to,
Derby
right?
sponsored by the New York Times? I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, it's my favorite Derby story is the story that about 6:08 tomorrow in the evening, me walking up to Angela with a $200 win ticket on Luxor Cafe and scooping about $8,000, and here they come. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you out there later, okay?
All right, thanks for having me. Good luck, everyone.
Yep, Angela Herman at Angela Herman 15. She's an analyst at Canterbury Park, and we have live racing 3 weeks from tomorrow. That was awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, always fun, PA. Thanks for having me.
That's
appreciate it.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com. I'm Paul Allen. I'm heading to Steve's Appliances in Mounds View right now for a customer appreciation event, and we're giving away a $3,000 GE kitchen set. Chat some faith, chat some football, and we'll do that at 12:30.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.